messages to her. I know that she said that she wouldn't have internet at certain points. Does everybody have an agenda?
I do not.
All right, I did bring them down, and I'll put it on my papers here.
That's not
It's all right.
There we go. I'll have the agenda.
I'll come up. Thank you.
Thank you. Agenda for you. Great, thank you. You got yours, and you brought yours, right? Did you need an agenda? You got yours. Okay. Good. And the red lights are on. I don't see anything yet, but nothing has showed up yet.
We don't have anybody else in there?
There's nobody else, there's
Okay.
nobody showing up here. This has been very temperamental, although the picture is coming out really good now.
Well, I'll just leave it there thinking, and if I pop up, I'll pop up.
And I will record.
And just let me know if somebody else pops in, because I won't be able to see them.
Yeah, thank you.
This meeting is being recorded.
Good evening and welcome to a special meeting of the Pittsfield Town Council, Wednesday, July 28th. It is now 7:21 p.m. and my deepest apologies for starting this meeting late. Thank you, gentlemen, for waiting and coming in. We have first item is to open the meeting with pledge of allegiance followed by a moment of silence. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Could we dispense with the moment of silence and move right into the meeting?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
Thank you.
I just have one later after it's over.
I think we all will.
Alright, new business, we have one resolution before us this evening.
Resolution 21-80, resolved that the town council authorize the town manager to execute sidebar agreements to the police collective bargaining agreement expiring December 31st, 2022, as negotiated and finalized by the Police Labor Negotiations Committee.
I move we adopt resolution 21-80.
Second.
Thank you. So basically where we're at on that, the Labor Negotiations Committee has met twice. And we have a proposal that we're working on, and to expedite the process here of working through the process of negotiating with the union on a sidebar agreement, we're asking for the council to give the town manager authorization to execute a sidebar agreement.
Only as finalized by the Police Labor Negotiations Committee, not
Correct.
something that I would do separately.
So we're only here to approve further discussions. We're not here to discuss proposals.
We are not going to discuss a proposal because this is an open meeting, and that would not be prudent to discuss labor negotiations in an open meeting.
So what would be the function of that? How would we do that then?
The council as a whole would not do that. It would be the labor negotiations committee
So,
reaching an agreement with the union.
So the council will have, the rest of the council will have no input?
The rest of the council would have input after an agreement is reached. The council would need to ratify that agreement.
Okay.
But giving permission for the town manager to execute that agreement will expedite the process.
Understood, but we will have an opportunity to discuss the details.
The councils will have an opportunity to review the agreement once it's been agreed upon and affirm that agreement, correct?
So with that-
So we really don't have much of an
Yeah, well,
input then.
no, that's not, you do and you, can I say something? You do and you don't. Here's what happens. It goes to the labor negotiation meeting. And then if the union agrees upon it, then it would, eventually it will come back here. This is what we agreed upon. This is our agreement of principle. Now you're gonna vote whether you agree with it or you don't agree with it. That's when you can, you can say, well, what about this? What about this? What about this? And if you guys don't agree with it and you vote it down, then it gets sent back to be renegotiated again.
Right, my concern is why we're not having this detailed discussion on an open forum. There's some sensitive and proprietary information I'm sure we don't need to divulge to the
Correct.
public.
All of it.
Understood. However, if we have a meeting with the council to discuss this, how can we not discuss those details without exposing proprietary and sensitive information?
I can answer that. Once the union has signed off on it, that this is what they agreed to, as long as we stick to what is in front of us, we're not breaking any kind of confidentiality, we're not breaking any kind of, we're not wandering into grounds that's questionably legal, because we signed off on it as a committee, they signed off it as a union. This is what they proposed.
Right.
Now, if you don't, like I said, if we don't like the, what's it, we say, no, we don't want that, we can go back and work on it, that's fine.
No, I understand and I agree
You know
with
what I'm
that.
saying?
Yeah, I do. However, I'll speak for myself. I'm not going to speak for the other councilors here, but I would like to know what the details are.
To be determined.
Right.
An
No,
agreement has not
I understand
Right now
that.
it's a work in
We're talking
progress.
about the meeting we're going to have after an agreement has been done, and then it gets presented to the council to vote on and discuss. I'm going to want to know details of it.
If the council were to vote that down, then it would not be ratified.
Right, but before we can make a determination,
Yes,
I would need to know details. I
We
mean,
see it at that council meeting. The council would need to ratify the agreement. The
okay,
town-
so
the town
all the
manager is
details,
not-
the particulars, the specifics, the wages, the time, everything that's involved with that, we will have documented in front of us without
Yes.
having to verbalize in a public
You
forum.
will receive a confidential package that would
Okay,
not
good.
be in
That's
your,
all I need to know.
package that comes across the email. So your e-package would not have the details, and of course, you should have them and see them.
Okay.
So you would get a separate package from myself delivered, and if you could come down and get it, that would be
I can do
great.
that. So I am the type of person, I play the devil's advocate quite often, and I prepare for the worst, hope for the best. If we still have questions that need to be verbalized or presented, I assume the option would be to go into executive session so that we can discuss that per the regular process of a town council meeting.
We have to do it a certain way. To do that, we're supposed to have the union here, the union representatives, so that we're in, the town attorney explained this out to me, because I said, why can't we just do it over the phone with you, and that will help us? And she said, no, if you're gonna do this under strict requirements, which is why we don't do this.
Okay,
Because it's so
so-
complicated, we would have to have the union lawyer here with our lawyer or us, and we would go over all this. Another way to do it, which we've done before, is that we get everybody's questions ahead of time and then we answer them, so you get the information, so you get everything.
Okay, and I understand, I know that's been done before, but as I said before, if there's another question that gets raised, since we can't go into executive session to get that answered, and it's not documented, we can't really have a sidebar to the side to discuss this, no one hears, we'll have to adjourn that meeting, answer that, and come back to another meeting.
We come back to another meeting, yes, which we'd like to avoid, so if everybody
Well,
looks.
that's, yeah, we all want to avoid that.
Yes, exactly, which is why we've got this set up. We just didn't, there's just too much of a gap in monies that we have to come up with to do.
Well,
certain things.
I know, the
Which is
particulars,
the end of
it's
that.
not of the topic here, and I just want to make sure that I understand that what our input is, or can be, or should be, and how resolution can be had on, as expeditiously and legally as possible.
Yes, That's what we wanna do.
what we can, and I don't recommend doing this, I don't like doing this, Mike, but I mean, if there's still a whole bunch of unanswered questions, there's nothing that says you can't table it to the next council meeting to get the answers.
Right, and to segue onto your response, Tim, thank you for that, by the way. If we can get the package ahead of time,
Yes.
As soon as possible, that way it'll be on us to do a review and submit our questions.
Yes.
And so, look, what about this, and then we can document it so that we can refer to it and say, item number 1 or item A, what about this? I'm sure there's gonna be detailed questions, but we're gonna have to be careful about that, I guess. So, to try to make it as efficient as possible, if we can get that package early enough, so we had enough time to review, and if we did have questions, submit them properly. I guess, maybe a little side note here, what would be the proper ways to submit that? By email to you, copy the mayor? I understand the emails aren't the best way of doing it.
Yes, that's true.
So how would we do that?
You could phone call in, you could leave them.
I'd rather have it documented.
Okay.
'Cause I can write it down and submit it. I bring it in and
Yeah.
I can email you the copy. I just wanna make sure, I just don't want this whole effort that's putting into this, and it sounds like more effort to get to where we need to be, washed away or put back another week or 2 or 3 because of a, uncrossed T or undotted I or something silly. I'm exaggerating to make a point, of course.
You write it down, and if people can write down their questions and give them to me, you keep it, we'll make a copy for you,
Okay.
and I'll have a copy, Heather will have a copy.
Does that sound reasonable to everyone else?
That way you don't have to worry about a confidentiality breach where you gotta worry about email, if all of a sudden the Morning Sentinel wants to subpoena 10,000
Oh,
emails.
remember that was
This way,
horrible.
it's pain in the rear end, Mike, but that way you get your
No,
questions
no,
answered and it's
and
not.
I'm actually thinking of that too. I just wanna make it as easy as possible, as simple as possible, as efficient as possible, and do it the right way the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you write it down, I think that's a good idea, no emails, thank you.
I'm sorry, I was jumping all over Jason's, I'm sorry, man.
Jason, sorry.
Okay. So if the labor negotiation committee agrees on something, why can't we at that point go into an executive session with just the council, just to talk about what you guys agreed on? And then we agree, yeah, that looks good, and then you go to the union for them to,
And then they come back, and then we have
And
to
they
have
say
another
no.
meeting, and then we go back to them, and then it becomes the full council's doing the negotiations times 2, because then we have to meet every time in between.
And besides that,
This is supposed to streamline this, because we're trying to get this done as quickly as possible because of the situation that we're in.
yes.
So, having multiple meetings is probably not the preferable way to do it. The labor negotiations committee meeting is gonna meet with the chief again next Monday, and then hopefully we'll have something coming out of that that we can give to the union by the end of the week, I would say.
So in addition to the common sense approach, I mean, we agree that would be good, but the town attorney has explained to me that in order to go over these negotiations, the statute is clear that the union is, if we're gonna say we're negotiating and going over this, the union has to be here with us. We can't go in and discuss them in executive session if they're not there.
Once they've signed off on it, okay, we agree to these terms, once they've signed off on it,
That's kind
then,
of why we do it that way.
it comes back here, then we can talk about it.
And we can't do it in executive session because it has to do with budget items and that needs to
Yeah, we
be-
can't discuss
Right,
the
yeah,
budget.
right, understood.
that's that part.
Point of clarification here, please. Aren't there supposed to be 3 councils on the police negotiating committee?
No, because that then makes it a council meeting, because we actually would be
Right.
negotiating.
Yeah.
We wouldn't just be talking here and there, we're actually negotiating.
So there were
But then you
more than
go
2
into-
for the search committee when we brought on Chief Bickmore.
That's,
Yes.
Wasn't
and those-
there was you,
there was.
and weren't you on that? And
Tim
I thought there was another
Tim
committee.
Tim Bob and I.
Okay,
But
and
that's
Bob.
not labor negotiation.
Right, no,
was,
that's what I was thinking of, that's why I want to have clarified, okay,
Yeah,
no, that's
and
fine.
those, that was personnel, so we
Yep,
went into
no, I-
executive
no.
session at the beginning.
Understood.
And did that.
Understood,
Yeah.
gotcha.
I know, we tried to figure out how to get
Pain in
around
the
this, and
neck.
this is why we don't
A little bit.
do it this
A little
way,
bit.
because it's so complicated.
Yeah, understood. So this meeting is to essentially vote on giving the town manager authority to negotiate sidebars with the police labor negotiating committee.
Correct, because she would
Okay.
represent the council.
Okay, but that would include yours and yours input though as a labor.
Oh,
as
no,
the,
they do the negotiating, I'm pretty much I know the.
Right, understood. I'm going by the way it's written, the town manager as a representative of the town, but with the assistance of the.
She's the liaison person.
Gotcha, okay, all
Exactly,
right.
and I don't really wanna be.
So it sounds like a yay or a nay vote. I'm satisfied, at least for this meeting.
Anybody else have any other questions about process or timing or anything else? No?
Yeah, just thank you, gentlemen, for coming in. I know it's your time and no one wants to be doing this kind of stuff, so appreciate your time and your effort going this, so hopefully we'll come to something acceptable by all.
Counselors, all those in favor of resolution 21-80, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Not hearing any, that will pass. I'll look for a motion.
And move adjourn.
Second?
We are adjourned. Thank you, and again, my apologies for keeping you waiting in the hallway.
It's all right, we'll send you the bill.
Everything comes with a price.
That just means I want a tiara now. Matching with the links.
So this next meeting will be what time, Monday?
All right, let me turn this off.
Okay, I'll go shut that off. You go ahead.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, and my apologies, I never thought that they wanted to work out the process,
Third meeting in a
so we
row.
didn't